classmate. This is Hernando Mendez Guzman, and I want to share with all of you my final work. So, in the first part, we were asked to write a history. So, based on two questions and one imagine, I have written a history, to complete this first part of this activity. So I want to invite you to hear and read the following history. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Lori. Lori was a 20 years old woman with green eyes, blonde hair, and 1.75 meters tall, and beautiful body. She used to live with her mother in a little house located at a village. They were pretty poor and didn't have a decent work. Therefore, she has to clean dogs and pigs' poop, do laundry, and feed animals at a farm nearby to her mother's house. So, with the money earned by her, she supports her mother. However, when she wasn't hired by the farm owners to do those things, she used to pick wild fresh blackberries up from the field and sold them at that town of the village. One day, when she was back to hunt, she noticed that her mother was getting older and too sick. She was frustrated and felt so sad about the situation that she was facing in her life. And that night, she was thinking what to do to solve up the situation. The next day, when she was on her way to the farm, a man who was riding a white horse and at least 5 more persons approached her and said, "You are the most beautiful woman that I have seen in the world." Ames continually introduced himself. "I am the wealthiest man of the village, and my name is Arturo, and I want to marry you. If you accept my pretensions, I would share with you all my treasures. But the only thing that you have to do is to go in with me far away from here for 1 year. After that time, you can get back to your homes and bring in your relatives for living with you." By saying goodbye, the strange man said, "I will see you at the most high street of these areas to pick you up at noon." On the same days, when she got back home, she told to her mom what had happened to her, and, in addition to that, she says to her mom that she wanted to go and get back when the time has passed, and take her mom to spend a better life with her. When the going time was approached, she hugged and kissed her mom and her cheeks, and by saying goodbye, mom, she cried. In spite of she was living in a luxury house, dressed in expensive dresses, and having a wonderful life, she missed her mom, and she was so eager to see her mom again. Exactly when the year finished, she arranged up some suitcases and some souvenirs for her mother, and by saying goodbye to her husband, she left the house. She was looking forward to see her mom again and to take her back, but the time she has to return back to her husband's house. It was a little late when she arrived at her mother's house. The only thing that she found was a letter, which said, "My little baby girl, I love you too much, and I hope you have a better life with a wonderful family. By the time that you have seen that letter, I won't be here with you. Ever since I have been lonely, I haven't felt well, and I think my days are numbered." As soon as she ended reading the letter, she looked around and regretted for having left to her mom alone and started to cry. So, with this history, I start to represent what was the difficult situation that the woman took. So, okay, and I hope you enjoyed the first part. In In the second point of this activity, we were asked to listen out a song called Out of Reach by Gabriel. And after that, we have to answer two questions. So, the first question is, do you think the song is mainly optimistic or mainly pessimistic? The second question is, what were the true problems according to the songs? So, regarding to those questions and the songs, these are my answers. From a personal point of view and based on the context of the songs, I think the girl was optimistic, although she knew and experienced the real situation of her relationship. She knew that love was out of reach by her, and knowing the consequences that these problems could bring out, she kept the relationship in. The true problem of this relationship was the lack of love on the man who never loved the girls on the same way that she had loved him. In this third part of this activity, we were asked to read the following text. Why won't he introduce me to his family? Can we leave my mother? So, regarding to those descriptions of the text, I have to answer the following questions. What do you think is the best solutions for each situation? So, these are my answers. Why won't he introduce me to his family? First of all, I think she should talk with her boyfriend and discuss about the situation that she is facing too. Secondly, in her positions, I will try knowing more about him, especially about his culture, religion, and traditions. Finally, I think the best solution will be to bring about a family reunion in which both families might share their cultures, religions, and traditions. If it doesn't work out, I think she should break up this relationship. Can we leave my mother? Based on this short text, I think she should let go her husband for the job offer. Once her husband has organized his things and when he considered that everything is going well, she could take her mom with her. In her positions, I will never leave my mother lonely. I think my mother is the most important person in our life and who has enabled us to live and be what we are today. In part B of this third point of this activity, we were asked to answer the following questions. Are you good at making decisions or not? If you find it hard to make a decision, what do you usually do? Regarding to those descriptions, I am going to share my answer. I consider that I am good at making decisions. When I have to make them, firstly, I to analyze each one of the pros and cons which my decisions could bring out, and after that, deciding it is a good option to be taken up. If I find it hard to make a decision, I talk it over with my coworkers and superiors, sharing their different points of view over the decision. In spite of different opinions given by them, I should take into account expert opinions, leaving aside the most important opinion which would make a positive effect on the problem. Finally, I think each decision presents its own challenge, and we all have different ways of approaching problem. But the most important of making decisions is to do things with confidence. In part C and the last one of this third point of the activity, we were asked to talk about a big decision or event in our lives. Regarding to that, I am going to share with all of you my answer. I've made a lot of decisions in my life, and frankly, I have taken those decisions sometimes alone and sometimes discussing with my parents and others. The particular decision that seems very important to me was the time when I decided to study bachelor's in English as a foreign language. Be a police officer in Colombia. It is difficult to have time to study and have time off. But when I was informed by a friend of mine about the career, I decided to start up with one of my goals. I made this decision when I was deployed to Zipaquirá town. Fortunately, in that town, I was assigned to work as a tourism police at the Soul Mine, which is recognized as a wonder here in Colombia. Working there, I realized that I could handle my free time up to study. I still had more time at the Soul Mine than when I was working as a civilian police, so that every time when I ended up with my duties at the Soul Mine at 6 p.m., I quickly sent from the mines to the police station and started on with my academic commitment. I have been attending my studies in difficult situations. That decision has taken me a lot of effort and too much sacrifice in my personal and familiar lives. But very soon I will see the great result of this important decision which I took one day. Okay, this is the end of this of the final words. Bye bye.